Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the April 19th, 2022 meeting of the Orangetown Plan and Zoning Commission. I am Commissioner Ozzie Parenti. Let's introduce ourselves for the audience.
Tamara Trantalis, Administrative Assistant.
Tom Tarenti.
Paul Kaplan.
Kevin Cornell.
Judy Smith.
Jack Demerjen, Zoning Administrator.
Okay, good. First item on our agenda this evening is a review of the minutes from the March 15th, 2022 meeting and the August 5, 2022 meeting. We tried to get the March 15th ones done last time, but we couldn't. The only ones who can participate in the vote on this are Paul, Tom, and, Paul and Tom, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yes.
Say that again?
You guys, one has to make the motion and one has to
There's only you
second.
three, so one of you has to.
Judy and Kevin are going to abstain
Yeah. Oh, okay.
because they weren't present for the meeting.
They were in Arizona.
Any questions or comments on the March 15th minutes? I had none.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the March 15th, 2022 meeting.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, it's been seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. And I guess Kevin and Judy abstained.
Abstain.
Abstain. All right, and on the April 5, 2022 meeting, I guess we were all here except for Tom. I had just one comment on this, Tammy.
Okay.
On page 2, the second full paragraph, 3 lines up from the bottom, Chairman Parenti noted that it will make it easier for them to subdivide. I think what I said was, it would make it easier for them to, when one of the properties is conveyed, because of record, in the town hall, in the town clerk's office, it would be clear that it was a permitted subdivision of the property.
Okay.
So not easier to subdivide, but easier to sell
Convey.
the property at some point in the future.
Okay.
Both parcels. That was all I had.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the April 5th meeting minutes as amended.
I will second that.
All right, motion, it's been seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, that's everybody, right? All right, next item on our agenda, old
Abstain on
business.
that, Tim.
To review any comments on the Affordable Housing Plan draft that we briefly discussed at the April 5 meeting. I think at the April 5 meeting, it had just been handed out to us. It had been emailed to us before that, but I don't think we were really prepared at the last meeting to start talking about it. So now we had it, or have had it, and we've had a chance to look at it. I thought it was gonna take me a lot longer to review this, it being 60 pages long. But what I note is that most of it is charts and graphs and statistics.
Data, and
Who is the ACS? They reference that organization as a source of many of the data about our town. So I just didn't know who they were. Let me find it.
What was that acronym, Judy?
ACS.
Where do you first see it?
Let me find it. We report a lot, of course, I don't know.
I I don't know, Judy.
I'll find it at some point, so talk amongst yourselves.
Page 25. Page 25. Has,
Yep. There you go. Thanks, Kevin.
The entire thing.
They're referenced several times, and I just didn't know who they are and how valid their data collection is.
All right. So anyway, the way I saw this, there are really 2 pages in the whole plan that are specific to Orange. It starts on page 45.
well,
So I don't know how we want to go through this, but
well, if we could go through it numerically, because I think there's a lot of, while most of the report appears data-driven and opinion neutral, there's some opinions along the way that I don't necessarily agree with. And if we could have just a quick, I mean,
no, I
people-
think we should definitely do that. I didn't notice, though, that's exactly my approach to this thing, was to look at it and see where it had language that would bind us to something in the future.
Well, that's interesting, because perhaps for benefit of not us, but the viewing audience, we should remind people that, what's the context in which this is coming up. We're under a mandate from the state to create a document to address affordable housing,
Right.
correct? And to implement that, we've, and a bunch of communities, engaged a consultant to create a boilerplate document that then gets tailored to individual municipalities, that will serve as a sort of a reference guide similar to the POCD.
Yeah.
We're not creating actionable regulations to implement. We're creating guidance to formulate our opinions on future stuff. And I think maybe that's an important context for
Yeah,
people.
well, whatever guidance we, lay out for ourselves in this plan, we're gonna be bound by it. I mean,
Right.
somebody's gonna, adjust their
Right.
attention to that
Right.
provision and say, you need to follow your housing plan, and here, on page whatever it says, you're gonna do X, Y, Z.
So since, and this is just because it comes up chronologically, on page 6, bottom paragraph, when they're explaining what affordable housing and what does it mean to your community, it seems to set out for Orange as a goal that for the people who work in the town, have to live in the town. Now, as somebody who commuted for 35 years, I mean, is that actually a town goal?
Where's the language, Kevin?
In Orange, 8 out of 10 of the highest employment
Last
occupations.
Paragraph.
Bottom paragraph, page 6.
Bottom paragraph. So basically, they're stating that, and it's a theme that runs throughout here. They're taking, the region and saying the jobs in Orange, because of the post road and trucking operations and things like
Retail.
that, is a net importer of jobs, which I would see as a positive thing.
Shop here and so forth.
Right. But then they take that and turn it into a goal that, okay, well then, if you're working here, you might as well live here, which would be nice. But,
Not everyone
I
can.
didn't walk down Park Avenue in New York and knock on somebody's office, apartment building and say, give me a room.
Right.
I commuted an hour and a half away to provide for my family and let them live here.
Right. I've never heard that as a goal. I've never seen it written as
I
a goal
don't,
until this.
there's a goal in our POCD that says that we should be trying to create affordable housing, but I think it's using it more in a conversational term.
In a larger sense, not,
Yes, not in
a
the
particular-
defined state
yeah, I agree with you.
of the HUD statute, all right? So
where's the goal stated, though? Not that.
So, sorry, so it's there, hang on, so, sorry.
I mean, there it just seems to me,
You know, it's on 21. I mean, I got it out of, so could find it challenging to afford housing in the community where they work.
it's just saying, based on the salaries that they're
Right.
likely to make, they could, I mean, it's a statement of fact, it's probably true,
Yes.
based on their statistics. I don't see anything
Okay, so you
where it
don't see
says-
that as a goal?
Well, I see it as a statement of fact. I don't see where
Okay.
it says Orange, is committed to, the town, Plan and Zoning Commission should commit itself to X, Y, Z. I mean, it's, again, I think those goals are all, that goal language is all specified on 2 pages of this thing.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
think, I'm happy to go through the whole thing, don't get me
Nope.
wrong. But I just don't see that as, setting forth a goal that would be binding on us at some point in the future,
I could see that.
Unless I'm missing something.
The next thing I ran into on page 9 is, doesn't appear that we're getting credit here for the number of units that have been recently approved. And I was wondering if the building permits have been issued for those, shouldn't they be part of these tallies, Smith Farms Road?
Yeah, did that,
A lot of them, they haven't. Smith Farm Road hasn't pulled any permits yet. Firelight, I think, has only pulled demo permits, nothing for, the actual units themselves. They demoed, they
Yeah.
did. We have units at Beecher Walk, which is the development near the transfer station. And then I know 197 Indian River, the elderly care facility, has, their units going up. But the big one would be the Smith Farm Road
Right.
because that's
development.
100% affordable.
I think it's 80% affordable,
And it was
yeah.
like 44 units?
46.
But along the lines of what you just said, Kevin, on page 75 of the POCD, it says that if you consider all the units that were not included in the state database, we're actually entitled to a 4-year moratorium on 8 Along the lines of what Kevin said, on page 75 of the POCD, it actually says that if the state database included all the projects where we have affordable units, we'd actually be entitled to a 4-year moratorium
Right.
on 8-30G projects,
So
so.
we've made much greater progress than we're
Getting
giving credit for it.
And I think we should include all the approved projects that are in the pipeline, and we just specify, these are approved, but it's X number more units, and that will definitely impact that 1.35 number.
But to Ozzy's point, if we're not, if we're committing to this as a reference document, as opposed to, these are specific, action item commitments, it's a different level of,
Well, I think you said it right. It's similar to the POCD.
Right.
Yeah.
And we address affordable housing in the comprehensive plan of
Yep.
development. So
Much of this was pulled right out of the POCD, because
Right.
I
I
directed them
didn't-
to that and said, a lot of what you're looking for is already written down right
Except for a
here.
couple of things that I'll go over later. I don't really see anything in here that's inconsistent with what we
No.
have in our POCD.
page 15, last line on the bottom.
So you want to make a note, you want to make
Yeah.
a note of some kind on that section, to Judy's point, or?
I did, well, I did too, and I'll remind you.
That's why this is
Yeah,
a
I will,
draft, right?
if,
Yeah.
if we have, a document that we can kind of mark up, because obviously whatever comments we do make, it's gonna be difficult for me to tell them verbatim,
Right.
tomorrow when I get in and just kind of give them our feedback.
We have a time frame though with them, right?
We do, yeah. And we can ask for an extension if we feel necessary, but this has to be filed by June 1st.
All right, so I guess you're making notes then as to,
I am making
so
notes.
you can raise these comments with them.
Absolutely,
With
but
the-
it would be nice, if we had something that was marked up, kind of like we're doing here, just to specifically point at, where, I just highlighted, exactly where Judy is too, where it's
I'll-
not including our.
I'll hand you this.
Okay, yeah,
Absolutely.
maybe, because Kevin's,
Yeah, I
Jack,
think,
No,
Jack,
yours.
did I read somewhere that
we needed to have comments to them 35 days before
If
June
we
1st.
were to put this to a public hearing for the adoption of it, 35-day notice was required, but it is not required that we hold a public hearing. And I spoke with Eugene about it because the language is just not very, it's very vague, and he agreed, saying that, you know, a lot of municipalities are not going that option, because when we got this, for 35 days' notice, we're putting ourselves pretty much right at the June 1st deadline. So a lot of them, you know, we opened it up to comment. I know last meeting I said, listen, this is all online. If anybody wants to go through it and offer us any input by this meeting,
Did you get some feedback?
I didn't really get anybody with any input. I got some questions regarding, you know, what it is, but no actual input or, you know, revisions that were suggested.
All right, I'm sorry, I thought we were giving our input tonight.
Yeah.
We are, yeah. I'm saying, you know,
And
for members of the public
I'll
before.
give you this and take what you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's take what we
Yeah.
agreed to.
Of what we agreed to, right.
What we agreed to.
Page 15, the last sentence on the bottom of the page. This trend is also likely, this has to do with population dot density. This trend is also likely the result of the large share of white residents consisting of over 80% of all residents. I think that the population dot density, my opinion is that it shows that anyone who can afford to live in Orange is welcome, and they feel comfortable living anywhere in the town. You know, what,
You can extrapolate.
I mean, this is an opinion
Right.
of somebody's, and I just don't happen to agree with it. You know, I mean, the dot density is correct, but the fact that people aren't clustering together doesn't, to me, make it feel like they feel like people need to be in clusters. They're just people,
Right.
you know?
As Ozzy said, it's more of a statement of fact, but it sounds like opinion.
Well, yeah, but
Is
the
that-
problem with this is that it, you know, what the data that they're looking at, they draw one single conclusion.
Conclusion, right.
Could, you know, Kevin's pointing out is it could be other reasons for it, you know?
Right. And I don't need to add my opinion. I just would say delete the opinion.
I don't see what it adds.
I don't see what it adds.
So I think that last sentence ought to be deleted. I mean, other people might have different opinions as to
Yeah.
why that's the case. I
Right.
mean, it may be a statement of fact, but,
What else do you
all
want?
right.
Well, page 21, again, that's the.
Can I stop you at 17?
Sorry, boss.
What did I say here at 17? You know, I just didn't understand the language. The last sentence in the first full paragraph on 17. Orange saw a large percentage decrease in residents with no high school diploma, but in absolute terms, that decrease was 149 residents. Orange's 1% decrease in residents with a graduate degree equates to a loss of 30 residents, meaning that Orange saw a net positive increase of 75 residents with a bachelor's degree or higher. Does that make sense? I mean, I didn't get the math there at all. I mean, maybe they may, there's a couple things I saw here that seem like they didn't quite make sense, you know? And it wasn't just the statistics, but it was either the math or just the way it was presented.
One they're talking about percentages, and the other one they're talking about absolute
Absolutes.
numbers. Yeah.
Right.
But the problem is the net positive increase of 75 residents with a bachelor's degree. I mean, is that 149 minus 30? No.
No,
It-
separate, I think it was just a separate statement. Right, they did with Mass, they did one with, an increase of non-bachelor degrees, correct? That was the first statement?
It says, Orange saw a large percentage decrease in residents with no high school diploma.
A decrease.
Right. In residents with no high school diploma. But in absolute terms, that decrease was 149 residents. Then it says Orange's 1% decrease in residents with a graduate degree equates to a loss of 30 residents, meaning that Orange saw a net positive increase of 75 residents with a bachelor's degree or higher.
It's a
almost like
convoluted,
they're
but-
three separate, it's almost like there's three separate statements, but they're putting the second and third together.
Together, yeah, I agree with that.
And over what time period? Their graph is from 2011 to 2019. So
I didn't-
when did this change occur, and why is it meaningful?
Over the 9 years?
Right.
I don't understand, I didn't understand
I-
the sentence. I don't know, you may want to bring that to their attention.
I don't understand the
Or an
impact of it,
explanation.
quite
Right.
frankly.
What is the importance?
Right.
Yeah.
And what is the time frame?
I almost took away from the document that they were harping on the faultiness of the desirability of Orange. That's the way I read it. It just almost seemed ridiculous to me.
With a bias against?
Well, for example, unfortunately, I don't have the whole document, but somewhere in the document, it said that the vacancy rate in Orange was a fraction of a percent, and a healthier vacancy rate would be 4 to 6%.
It definitely says that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, what does that have to
Exactly
do with
that.
anything?
That just means it's available. See, we would see the lack of vacancy as, this is great.
Everybody wants to live here.
Everybody who wants to be here, it's full, we're full.
Right.
But they're saying that a healthy vacancy rate allows for an influx of new people, based on the criteria that density equals opportunity, is what it appears to be. You know,
All right.
but move on. So on page 21, this again, just as more of a question I had for the group, is in the first paragraph, it goes, this suggests that the jobs employees actually hold in Orange may not pay enough for them to afford to live in town. True.
Different jobs.
And if they do, they may struggle to find a price-appropriate housing. So as a statement, that is correct, but is that a goal of the town? To provide housing for everyone
I
that
think
lives in the
I
town?
think when we had our meeting with the author, or the authors, we said that, that, would be a consideration that we'd like to make, like, take a fireman or a policeman, teacher, to the extent that we could, make more housing available, or, at different price ranges, allow them to stay in town, that would be a positive
Right,
thing.
but that's a municipal worker?
Municipal worker.
Right, but this could be a retail worker,
This is-
working at a store on Route 1.
There's no way you
And is it
don't-
our goal that,
I
No,
agree.
no.
It's
Yeah,
not a
no,
goal
you're
for
right.
us, from my standpoint, it's just a diversity of jobs. Some jobs pay more, some jobs pay less.
Yeah.
That's what I'm, no.
No, but if you wanted your, your police and fire to live in town for some reason,
right,
you
that's
would,
great, that's not what this
you
says.
would maybe want to do something if you could.
Right. You get your.
If you're focusing on the municipal
Yeah,
part.
but across the board, I don't see it.
I agree.
Right. I think it's a true statement, though.
I think it is a true statement. But I just wanted to know, I mean, I don't see in the POCD where that is a goal of the town. In generically, yes, there was a goal that, if there were, I'm sorry about that. If there, as a goal, if things were more affordable, it would be easier on people. But isn't that just like a statement of fact everywhere across the
Yeah.
board?
If there was housing stock was cheaper, there would be more people who could afford it.
Yes, I mean.
I
it's
agree.
like-
Everywhere.
Yeah,
It's a lot of pretty obvious stuff here.
right, all right.
Again,
So we don't have to do anything about that. All right. Okay, we already talked about the housing and getting credit for the things that got approved, or at least having it in a chart as a, permitted, not
No question.
not
Yeah,
very-
not constructed,
not constructed.
but it would be a current inventory.
And
This
to
is
just
not
notate
accurate.
it very clearly that this has been approved and the permits that, whatever you want to say.
Right.
But it's not just a wish list, it's, these projects have been approved and are in the process of construction.
Yeah. On page 45, the third bullet point currently reads, increase the diversity of residents in Orange by ensuring availability of housing with a mix of housing types at a variety of price points. So in that context, what, is it income diversity? Increase the income diversity of residents in Orange? Is that the intent?
That's exactly what I circled here. I have no idea how they define diversity.
Okay, thank you.
So
Because
But I would never go along with that bullet point for another reason, because this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say I don't want to be bound.
okay,
And when it says ensuring, increase the diversity of residents in Orange by ensuring availability of housing with a mix of housing types at a variety of price points.
okay.
That's gonna get waved in our face later on.
Yeah.
Right.
I think, though, that we, as a, I don't know if it's a goal, I mean, I hadn't put a characterization on it, but we certainly, I don't mind approving a mix of apartments and, I mean, housing diversity without all the other characterizations of it. But I think we should have different types of housing.
Stop. We
In-
do that in our plan.
Right, because I think it's consistent with the POCD.
But the word ensuring gives me the problem here.
Yeah, so really what you're saying, this bullet should read, increase the diversity of housing choices
Yeah.
with a variety of price
That,
points.
to me, would be a goal
Yeah.
of, moving forward. And I think it's consistent with our POCD as well.
And I-
This is what's on page 73 of the POCD. Providing for housing in Orange, which is more affordable, will allow us to address the housing needs of an aging population, provide housing choices for existing residents so that they do not need to move elsewhere if their circumstances change, offer more housing choices for younger people, offer more housing choices for single people, offer more housing choices for moderate income people who work in Orange. Why couldn't they just put that?
I don't know. That'd have been more, that would have been a better explanation than just these several words.
Yeah, I mean, again,
think that should
these are
come
the 2 pages where the
Oh, okay.
rubber meets the road,
All
I
right.
think, And I had no these talk about Orange specifically,
Yes.
what our
Okay.
goals are gonna be.
All right.
Or what we're committing to.
So,
I had no problem with bullet points 1 and 2.
okay, but then.
Three, I am not comfortable with that language.
Four,
for the
four
reasons.
is very similar to what Judy was getting at just a second
Right,
ago.
that's consistent.
Four and 5 are fine with me.
6,
6 I got a problem with.
I do too.
Yeah,
I don't think that's supported by the POCD.
and I have a problem with 7.
And it's very vague. Use housing as a tool. I mean, I don't understand what that really means. To continue to support younger family households and new millennial residents by providing a wider range of places to live and bringing more residents to the area to support local businesses, Again, I think if we rewrote the third bullet point, we wouldn't need that bullet point.
Meaning Judy's explanation of what's in the POCD that she was just reading
Right,
on page
it's
73.
right there. Offer more housing choices for younger people.
I don't think we need that.
Right, why do we have to do millennial residents?
Yeah, no, I think we should take that out.
Take out 6, right?
Yep.
That's fine.
7, I gotta, I don't know, I mean, do we wanna,
No,
again,
I think it's too specific. They're telling us
Yeah.
what type of housing structures we must approve.
right, and a developer proposing a condominium project will point to this and say, you committed to approving condominiums.
Right.
Says it right in your plan.
It says it right in your housing plan.
And we have approved townhouses and condominiums, but we weren't bound by it.
Right, I think we have a track record of approving what comes in front of us and pushing them to get more affordable housing within the project to the extent that we can. I like what you, I like the plan. The POCD.
Yeah.
just like page 73.
The last item there, again, I thought was very, very vague. Promote resident education, communication, and discussion about implementing the affordable housing plan. I don't know. I don't know what that commits us to. But somebody will come in with a very good idea that they have about what it means, and then it'll be our problem. That was really the orange, that was really the orange page out of all 60 pages.
So can we come to a kind of consensus? So bullet point 1, key.
And
2, key. 3, lose. Insert from page
73?
73 of the POCD.
Yeah.
Those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullet points.
Right,
Right?
right.
Then where do we go from there?
I don't think there's anything else that I feel comfortable with.
4 is fine.
4 and 5 are fine.
Oh,
That's just-
isn't that part?
Isn't that part of
It's,
this?
it's there too, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, if it's
Yeah.
duplicative, just.
Right. I think 3 and 6 could kind of be merged and just use the language from page
Yeah.
73 of the POCD
think-
would make that a lot
I
clearer.
think that makes sense. I would eliminate 7 and 8,
6, 7, and 8.
6, 7, and 8.
And even 5, that's sort of what we do. You need the infrastructure and transportation.
But that sort of backs up what we, well, it backs up what we do. I mean,
Okay.
I don't have any problem with staying consistent with that.
Maybe, how about commercial developments, period, and we skip the rest of it?
Okay. Well, then the commercial development spills into the zone by the I-95 interchange. The LI2,
LI4?
yeah.
Light industrial.
Yeah, if you just leave it commercial without keeping it on the post road by the, borders,
Well,
then someone could.
okay. All right. Well, he does
I
say
thought what
Boston
would-
Post Road, commercial corridor.
I thought what was on page 46 was all accurate. About 2/3 of the way down. Town of Orange has highlighted 2 areas where housing investment may be
Yes.
supported. And
Got
it
it.
mentions the Route 1 corridor and these housing diversity areas,
Yep,
which are very limited. But I think it's accurate and lines up with what we have in the Plan of Conservation and Development. So I didn't have any, page 46 was specific to the Town of Orange. I didn't have any problem with it, though, with what's said there. That sort of covers what I had. I don't know what anybody else had. Again, I think probably could have been done in a couple of pages, but, it was done in a couple of pages as it relates to Orange. But again, I just want to be, personally, I just want to be careful about being bound by something we say here when it comes to to a certain development that we're not all that excited about.
Would it be possible to get drafts of other towns that are of similar size?
I'm sure we could get, Guilford is in there. I think Cheshire is too. I'm sure we'd be able to.
They're not piggybacking off this same thing? Or?
They all are. The only member of the South Central Region Council of Governments that opted out of this is Bethany, because they're, very different than a lot of these. Even more so than Woodbridge and Orange in a lot of ways. So they're the only ones who decided to take this up themselves. All of the other municipalities covered by SCROG are looking at something very similar to what we are.
Yeah. Well, those, that's our input.
Yeah, I have it, and I think with Kevin's copy as well, and Judy's. You know, I'm also, what's great about this is I'm also gonna send them the copy of this meeting. You know, they can watch the meeting and listen to this live of our comments. So I think that would be good for them too, amongst me giving them our comments, you know, in email and over the phone with Eugene. If they do have anything, they can hear it right out of our mouths just by clicking on a YouTube link. So I think that's definitely something.
That's a good idea.
All right, do we need any further discussion? Huh?
No,
You've had enough.
listen. I think they could have taken it directly out of the POCD for the vast majority of what they worked on
Yeah.
for Orange anyhow.
Yeah, a couple of.
And the
couple-
timeliness of some of the statistics, you know, it's just, yeah, just
All
odd.
right. All right, let's move on then to new business, where we're going to review the amended language regarding outdoor dining standards in accordance with Public Act 21-2, Section 182B. You actually have two things in the packages, right, Jack?
I do, yes. So I know we spoke about it before, but outdoor dining was one of the topics covered in the new land use legislation released by the state of Connecticut that essentially turns all outdoor restaurant seating into a permitted use as of right, no longer a special permit. So what's in front of you is the paper that's marked in red. These are our existing outdoor seating standards. And essentially what Vinny and I did with this is we excluded restaurant because those are the establishments and food services that are covered in the new legislation. Recently, we added cigar shops and cigar lounges as eligible businesses for outdoor seating. So we decided that we should keep this section for other businesses that are not covered by, you know, food establishment definitions. So we have cigar shops, but who knows, in the future, there could be other businesses that are requesting, you know, we include them in here to be eligible for outdoor seating. So that's really what we did, is we excluded anything that had to do with restaurants or food establishments, and, you know, amended this one really just to reflect those changes. Everything else kind of stayed the same.
Can we offer some changes now?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I think this is fine. This is exactly what I had in mind anyway, is, you know, with the new state legislation that came out. I think in A, the second to last line where it references public or private school. I think it just should say a school. What's the difference whether it's public or private? So it just.
Any school.
Any school.
1,500 feet from a school and/or a public park,
Gotcha.
all right? All right, all right.
Is school a defined term somewhere else in the,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's, I'm sure we have something along the line, the Amity Region 5 school, but I'll make sure of that.
well, yeah, I
But
mean,
like dog
you know, you
obedience,
just don't, you don't want Arthur Murray to say, yeah, I'm school.
Yeah,
Just, I don't,
I don't know,
Trade schools are trade schools.
yeah.
right.
We mean an educational section.
Well, you mean like like Murray or?
I mean, the types of school we want a setback from.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, but he's gonna say it's his is educational as well.
Well, it is,
Yeah.
yes, that's true too.
I don't know, I think
We'll be okay.
I think we'll be okay, and it probably, you know, if I had, we could check to see if there's a definition, there may
Will
be
do.
one, but. You know, I didn't understand exactly what I thought you were changing this, like the cigar shop regulations?
We're not really changing what's in the regulations, just changing it so
Just using-
restaurants are
yeah,
no
you-
longer
all right,
included.
I got
Because
it.
those are as of right, but,
Yeah.
you know, for a cigar shop, that's not a food establishment. A food establishment is defined as anything that has a food license.
So this
whether
is
that
by
be a-
special permit still?
By special permit, yes.
So there's no, there, you have in the, so, Jack, I don't know, maybe I'm, what is 383-122.5?
So that is the amended section that I'm proposing where we add the administrative site plan review portion for food establishments.
Okay,
So this is the new regulation section that we would have to create to be compliant with
State
PA 21-2.
all right. So you'd be interested in some suggested changes to that?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, let me give you a couple of things that I had, but I had nothing very substantive. In G, food and/or drink preparation and/or storage are prohibited, I would say, in outdoor seating areas as opposed to from outdoor seating areas. And then,
The concept being everything is going to be prepared in a kitchen or something like
Right,
that?
Right,
that was
and
taken
that was-
direct out of our
Yeah.
other
Existing.
section.
and in I, outdoor area is intended for seated patrons. The total number of patrons in the outdoor seating area shall not exceed 10% for any food established. 10% of the full capacity, is that what that's meant to? Of the full
Right.
restaurant capacity?
Yeah, that, and I think it's meant to avoid a lot of standing in the outside. You know, if you have a bar or something, you know, a lot of your patrons are not going to be seated, they're gonna be standing.
Right.
Which quickly means that a lot more people are gonna be out there, and I think what it's meant to do is 10% of your maximum capacity should not, only 10% is your maximum there.
So
You
you're
should
going
not
to
be
add
exceeding
language that says 10%?
Of the full
Of
restaurant?
the
full
full
restaurant.
Right.
restaurant seating capacity.
Yeah,
Needs a little
something
more
like that.
detail. And so are you gonna enforce this? You'll have to go to these establishments?
Yeah, you'll have to.
and count people?
Send Tammy.
Okay.
Right, and that, again, that was also taken right from our
Yeah.
other.
But I remember when we were at Chips, it was a little day.
Right, I think we were trying to differentiate between, you know, why would we hold people to 10% out there? And I think the seated part of it was a big, you know, a big factor.
Yeah.
Because again, you could have a lot of people standing outside, you know, you have some sort of special event or anything like that. But this is, the outdoor area is intended for seated patrons, I think is what our goal with that section was.
That's all I had on it.
And again, pretty much all of this was taken directly from the other section. We just included language to specify that this is meant to bring us into compliance with the new
Yeah.
state
Right.
regulations.
The substantive provision being the difference between a full site plan review and an
And,
administrative review.
And
That's
administrative,
covered.
right. Well, actually, you would need a site plan for both, but
just
special
a special
permit
permit.
aspect.
Yeah, you don't need a public hearing.
You
Correct.
don't need a special permit. Outdoor dining is a use by right now
Right.
at all
Correct.
restaurants.
Right. Subject to administrative review.
And site plan.
Yeah. But not the full-blown site plan application necessarily.
Well, it still would be. You know, if you're building an outdoor seating area, you still have to submit a site plan
Yeah.
to the
Us.
zoning office.
Yeah,
But it does not have to go in front of the commission because it's no
Right.
longer by special permit.
right.
But they still have to.
Or you can't require that it go before the commission.
No, I cannot require
Right.
it.
All right. Anything else on that? All right, then, Jack, you have a report for us?
No, I think a lot of it was covered in new and old business.
All right. All right, then we can move to our public hearing. We have just one public hearing tonight. It's on the application for conversion of a single-family dwelling to accommodate an elderly apartment, submitted by Joseph Livramento for the property known as 604 Wingfoot Road,
Come on up.
to construct an addition with an in-law apartment. Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, actually, legal notice.
Oh, yeah, let's do
Paul?
that first, Paul. Sorry.
To appear one time on Wednesday, April 6, 2022, and one time on Thursday, April 14, 2022, the Orange Town Plan Zoning Commission notice of public hearing. Notice is hereby given that on Tuesday, April 19th at 7 p.m., 2022, at 7 p.m. at the Orange Town Hall, 617 Orange Center Road, the Orange Town Plan Zoning Commission will conduct a public hearing on the following: the application for the conversion of a single-family dwelling to accommodate an elderly apartment submitted by Joseph Liveramento for the property known as 604 Wingfoot Road to construct an addition with an in-law apartment. Copy of this notice has been filed with the Orange Town Clerk. Additional information is on file in the Orange Zoning Department. Dated in Orange, Connecticut, this 5th day of April, 2022.
All right, thank you, Paul. Would the applicant introduce himself, please?
Yes, Joseph Liveramento, Liveramento, 604 Wingfoot Road.
Okay, maybe you could tell us about the project.
Okay. So the project consists of, on the right side of the house, adding 3 garages and a mudroom, and above it would be an in-law and a sitting room. And then on the left side of the house, we're adding a master suite and another bedroom and 2 bathrooms. And then there'll be a deck between the 2 wings in the back. And per requirements, I'm going to be putting in a new septic system in that's been approved with Brian in the health department. I could have just added to it, but since it was aged, I figure it's a good time to just redo the whole system so I don't have no problems in the future. So we upgraded that and got that approved.
Where is the primary entrance to the in-law apartment?
Okay, below the garage, there's a mud room.
Okay.
You would come in, and then they'll set of stairs where the sitting room is. Those would come up.
You go through there, okay.
So none of the entry in the front of the house is not changed at all?
There just won't be any stairs going down, because I'll have new stairs coming up from the garage, and there's also stairs going in the new section that'll go down to the basement also.
So the grade is dropping off on the right-hand side so that you're driving on the right down and parking under the addition on the right-hand side.
Correct.
So that new in-law apartment is serviced out of the new garage on the lower level, up through the stairs.
Okay,
And then connects by deck and door to the existing central portion of the house, which also has a wing being built on the left-hand side.
right. But the regulations don't allow you to change any door facing the front of the
Right, and
property?
it does not.
And it does not.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, okay. I mean, has everybody looked at our regulations, section 140, 383, 140, the special standards? I think the only thing I'm concerned about is that floor area. Each dwelling unit created shall contain not more than 900 square feet of floor area.
That's just for the in-law?
That's the in-law. There's
The in-law is going to be
738.
736 square feet.
Where is it? I thought it was this.
You need this here. I would grab this paper.
It's like at 738 is the in-law part.
The 738 is the entire square footage of the bedroom, the in-law apartment, and the sitting room?
All right, so
Correct.
it's less than 900?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And this is in the vision chart, that's not in the ballpark.
Right, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Is this one level?
What's your first name, sir?
Joe, you call me
Joe.
It's Joe.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Is this all on one level?
Yeah, this is the main level. There is the basement lower level.
Right, but the addition that I'm looking at on the left side, it's on one level with the main part of the house?
Correct, correct. This is all, yeah. Everything that would be on this one level, and this level, yes.
We're not approving the addition.
No.
We're
Correct,
approving
just the use.
the in-law. Just the in-law. Well, the regulations that I mentioned, I just go over some of the high points. You know, the in-law apartment has to be, I mean, the elderly apartment has to be incorporated, quote-unquote, into the existing building, which means that it can't be attached by a breezeway or anything like that. I mean, there's the deck, obviously, but there's also, you know, access into the, it's got a common wall with the house. It has to be located on a lot that's at least 30,000 square feet, which it's well over that. The dwelling in question shall be owner occupied during the duration of the special permit. It's your intention to continue to live
Oh,
in the
yes.
house. At least one dwelling unit shall be occupied by a person 55 years of age or older, which is who? Your-
Oh, my in-laws, yeah, 77 or 76.
all right.
No, you ain't going no there. I leave Orange.
And then it says floor area, each dwelling unit created shall contain not more than 900 square feet of floor area, which we've established. And you'll sign the usual certification as
Yes,
to.
I believe he already has included in there.
All right. I have no questions of the applicant. Does anybody have any further questions for the applicant? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Do we have all the municipal department head sign-offs?
We don't on this, because this is just for the use. When he comes back to approve the actual structure, it would have to be reviewed by all the necessary departments.
All right. I see there were some in the application.
There are, to make sure septic and building were okay with everything.
Well, building didn't sign off.
Building didn't sign off because they've
Septic.
actually been out for close to 3 weeks.
All right.
This week was his first day
But
back,
they
but
will.
I did run it by him and he had no problem with it.
All right. All right. Is there, do the commissioners think we need any more information to decide this application?
I make a motion to close the public hearing?
All right.
Second?
It's been seconded. All right. All in favor of closing the public hearing signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, the public hearing is closed.
Looks like it meets all the requirements to integrate it into the main house. We'll see when the other plan comes back, but, I mean, I have no problem with what
Yeah.
you're proposing.
And I think as far as special permit is concerned, you know, it's consistent with our plan of conservation and development. I mean, here is where we mentioned elderly.
Keeping people in town, and this
Right.
is one way to
I
do
mean,
it.
that is a
Chain 'em.
specified goal
Right.
that we have, and this accomplishes that.
Wonderful.
Prior
All
to
right.
the meeting, I asked Jack if, to check into whether we keep a tabulation of this and whether it's part of these charts.
I think we absolutely should.
Yep.
Yeah. Sidebar, but how many in-law apartments have we approved?
Quite a few,
Quite a few,
Right.
yeah, we have a running list.
Good.
quite a few.
But we should make
And
sure it
they're
makes our little
supposed to
report.
sign every year
Right.
the certification that it's being used in that.
55.
Yeah, that they still.
That they
being
still meet
used.
the requirements.
Right.
I think I've asked this before. What happens when somebody expires, and are they able to use it as an in-law apartment, or does somebody have to be 55 or
Technically not, because with this special permit, you're allowed to have a separate cooking facility.
Right.
Whereas if you don't have this permit or you're not a legal two-family, you're not allowed to have two cooking facilities
Right.
in a single-family home.
So effectively, it'll become a two-family, or used as a two-family.
Right, it's ideally, you know, if you no longer meet the qualifications, you should be dismantling, you know, any other cooking facilities and
Oh, so it'd go back to a single family with a really, really big empty
ideally,
area?
yes, with, you know, an additional bedroom that you could have there, you know, but
Got
you
it.
aren't allowed to have
No
separate
cooking.
cooking.
Or the house gets sold to someone who can
Yeah.
put an
Can use
elderly
it.
person there and use it that way.
Sure.
All right. If there's nothing else, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll move that we approve the application for the conversion of the single-family dwelling to accommodate an elderly apartment submitted by Joe Liveramento. I did the best I could, Joe.
Very good.
For the property known as 604 Wingfoot Road.
All right, we have a motion to approve.
I will second that very eloquent motion.
I was worried
It's been
about that.
seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, congratulations, good luck.
Appreciate it.
All right,
Nice seeing you all again.
nice seeing you too.
Likewise.
All right, that concludes our agenda, our business for this evening.
Move to adjourn.
Please,
A motion to adjourn.
absolutely.
Second.
It's been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned at 7:55.